Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of Voices of Enoch. Today we have our trio joining us because our not trio, Capo, no idea where he is. Ambassador, by the way. We have Big Daddy, who has rebranded himself to Dude with a Blunt. And we have the CEO, Maffeine, here. And we're gonna dissect the latest dev news and then, talk about a few other topics. So to get started, we're going to be dissecting that dev news, and let's go ahead and start with Fortress and wider balancing, including the legendary sets. This is pretty straightforward, just a little overview of this. They're just letting us know that Fortress will not be the only change made. It's going to be like a buff. It's going to be changed with future buffs happening to other mods and legendary armor sets, which they discuss here. I also wanted to mention that they're looking at adjusting class trees as well, which is really, really good, because that's another way to get that damage loss in Fortress is to, go into the tree and boost some anomaly or, any other thing that needs boosted that you lost from Fortress elsewhere. That being said, they have some really nice changes made for some of these sets, so we can just go ahead and dissect it. Let's start with the Devastator set, which, was going to be distributed between Capo and Big Daddy, but Big Daddy, take it away, since myself and my team are Devastator noobs.
No problem. So first up, we get the buff to the Martial set. So previously, the Martial set would share anomaly damage across enemies hit by Endless Mass. Only 10% anomaly damage, but now they'll buff it to 40%. I mean, the change is good, but ultimately you need to compare it to Seismic Commander, which gives you free damage. So it'll be fun for some interesting builds, but I don't think it'll be really, up the meta chain really. And also something to point out with this legendary set is they're actually changing a mod on the set, right? So they're not only buffing the set bonus, but they're actually changing a mod to make it more viable. So they're changing Shattered Armor and replacing it with Mosh Pit. So Shattered Armor was, removing armor, which is good for Firepower Devastator, but not for Anomaly Devastator. So it makes sense that they removed that mod and they replace it with Mosh Pit, which is a new mod that they buffed recently, right? That increases the range of Endless Mass and breaks Absorbing Skin on Alphas and Elite Brood on Broodmothers. So I mean, some interesting changes there. It's not amazing. It's not going to be the next meta set, but they show they're willing to change some things.
Is there any value to it's nice to be able to use different stuff and whatnot, but will this even tip its hat to Seismic set? Is there really a point?
I mean, that's a good
question. It's
options
until you get the Seismic Armor set. I think that's a good way to look at it, maybe.
Yeah.
Because overall, I'm sure it's easier set piece to get, because you know how long everybody's grinded for that headpiece.
Mm-hmm. Well, but at the same time, right, their goal is not to break the meta, right? Their goal is to bring up unviable items. So I think that's a step in the good direction.
That's a good point. Yeah. I've just been thinking about that because everyone, they're just after the Seismic set, and yeah, I guess that is a plus. And Marshall has Despair, right? That's the right set?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's Martial Boots. That's a great mod. So, I mean, yeah, maybe there's something that can be done with this.
Well, yeah, and also, there's another mod that makes targets hit by Endless Mass take more anomaly damage. So there's definitely something there, like you Endless Mass Moloch, and you could do a lot of damage, maybe, type thing.
I don't know. I've never really messed with this Martial stuff.
Well, I mean, when they fix Endless Mass completely, that'll be interesting, people to play around with.
And it's a good change.
That's coming soon, right?
Previously.
Oh, no, we don't know when that's coming.
Okay.
We do know that it's coming at the same time as the Fortress nerfs and Morning Winds nerfs, if there is Morning Winds nerfs.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll discuss a bit more about Moaning Winds next patch, but I'm okay with them leaving Moaning Winds alone and then focusing a bit more on Fortress, because like we mentioned last week, I really do like that Moaning Winds gameplay loop. It's very unique to the game.
Yeah. So now we'll move on to the Dead Proof set.
Yeah, let's move on to the Dead set. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just before I move on, actually, yeah, just to say that the Mosh Pit mod applies to vulnerable. I was wrong there, but it's it's a very good mod
Guys,
compared to Shattered Armor. So yeah, that's a good thing.
hate to interrupt, but we have a ambassador sitting in the Blaze channel.
You have an ambassador sitting in the Blaze channel. Let's go, Capo!
Oh, thank God.
What up? What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, Capo? You want to put your cam on?
No, I do not.
Oh no.
Oh
I
no,
am
he's
not.
naked.
No, it ain't that. It's just I was outside and I was doing the lawn and shit, and I'm like, holy fuck. I just got wrapped up, and plus I got a bunch of shit in here, so it looks like it's a mess in here.
That's okay. I was able to get your
So what's happening? Are we starting the podcast again?
No.
No,
Keep
we're
going.
not starting the podcast.
hell no.
Let's keep
Okay,
going.
okay. So I'll just keep going then.
Yeah,
So the Dead Proof set, they changed it to before it only gave cooldown to Boulder Dash, but now it also increased your firepower by 15% of your armor. So this is interesting because not only are they pushing Boulder Dash to be a firepower set, with Primal Chain Gun and other things like that, but also they're making kind of a synergy with possibly military, I guess, but not necessarily. And also they changed another mod.
So Kingslayer is what? That's crit damage, increases
The
firepower,
elite.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so crits
Yeah.
crits on elites increases firepower by 32k. Actually,
Gotcha.
yeah. Actually, this change is
But
this
this,
change is
but
a bit questionable because they're changing, they're trading firepower for armor.
yeah.
But I guess it's because of the new set bonus, right? Increased firepower by 15% of armor, so maybe they're looking
Well,
at it
actually,
that
I guess
way.
it depends if there's a cap, right? If there's a
Yeah.
cap on this bonus or not. Because the problem with the military capstone is there is a cap on the bonus firepower you can get from armor.
Mm.
Or maybe if this one doesn't have a cap, it could be interesting.
Well, if it does have a cap, I think they need to increase the firepower on it, like the instead of 15, maybe give it like
scaling.
20. Yeah, give it like 20 or something like that. But if it doesn't have a cap, then
Could be hot.
yeah, it could
Yeah,
be
I don't
odd.
know. I don't know about this Death Door change. I'm gonna be honest, because Death Door is not a good mod.
Yeah, I think they should. I
I
think they should
mean-
maybe look into something else instead.
Like mitigation from death. Like if you could
Yeah.
slap mitigation
I
from
don't-
death instead on that.
Well, I don't
was
know.
gonna say
'Cause
MOD
mitigation
would
of
be
death
kind of
has-
hot if there's no cap.
Maybe. I just think I see what they're trying to do. Like, hey, we're giving you firepower, but we're gonna give you a armor mod on here instead of, you know what I mean? So that way it doesn't, I guess, be too OP. They might think it might be too OP, and this is just an idea. We're gonna just say this is what they're looking at. But I think when that testing phase come around, it'd be kind of good. It'd be like, hey, you know what? Okay, at that moment, maybe we could say, hey, yeah, maybe put mitigation of death on here instead of this to make
Well,
it a
I'm
little
just
bit more appealing.
thinking because Death Door is situational, right? You only get the bonus under 35% HP, so you won't even get the bonus firepower except when you're dying.
Yeah, and then how often? I mean, truly, with Devastator, how often are you really down? You know what I mean? Being so tanky. Um, that's good. I think it's a good thing. I just
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, I just think we won't know until we test it, right? To see how viable it could be. That's the thing about Devastator, right? You could do all kinds of craziness with it. You can buff as much as you want, but unless we test it, unless we see, because the changes on Devastators have to be significant.
And
Yeah,
will the set bonuses actually
mean-
work this time around?
Exactly. No, I mean, that's true. That's fact.
Just to give, like,
It's pretty similar to Maffeine's question with Marshall. It's like, will this dead proof change make it better than the statue? And I mean,
Oh,
I don't know about that.
yeah. That death proof change is it's good, but the statue has just so much potential that if they get it right, I mean that could be a good thing, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, Firepower Devastator above all needs more armor piercing in its skill tree.
Yeah.
Like if the skill nodes were 30% armor piercing to balance the fact that you don't have round skills on
Yeah,
Firepower
the only
Devastator.
class where armor piercing nodes are actually useful.
Yeah. So I feel like they should just double those nodes on the Firepower
Yeah.
Devastators, honestly. And
Yeah.
just make it so there's armor piercing is not so much a problem. That would be another suggestion I would make. But let's move on to the statue set. So this is very interesting, not because the change is massive, but because the type of changes they're doing. So on the statue set, they will replace the skill each attribute with
With
close
close range.
range damage,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing and signifies so much for the rest of the legendary sets in the game.
Yes.
Because a lot of the sets have this problem where they have random attributes that don't synergize at all with the build.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty happy about these news.
Yeah. No, that's actually pretty good.
I mean, that affects damage massively, right? Like, think
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
gonna increase. That's
Yeah,
gonna be increased.
10% damage. 10%
Mm-hmm.
more damage per piece with close range on it. That's incredibly uh, effective.
Yeah. So you're just gonna be just face tanking, like all
Any
about
free
face
damage
tanking.
is always nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, to bring Marshall and Dead Proof even higher, I'd say those buffs. You could put on like the Marshall set instead of sharing anomaly damage. I'd make it like I'd put it at 20% shared anomaly damage, and I'd slap on a 25% damage multiplier on top of it. So it's both a
Ooh.
debuff and a link
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
Capo,
what I
yeah.
you got the ears.
That's
Might as
what I
well,
do
you
with
know.
Marshall. With Dead Proof, I'd just make it give more firepower from armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
you can do like a tanky build with a ton of firepower. That'd be
firepower.
interesting.
Yeah.
By shared bonus, that means team, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Okay. Because I was just thinking of like despair and such from the Marshall set and like focusing more
I'm
on the.
literally thinking, right? Basically turning Devastator into a debuff machine.
Okay, yeah, that's where I thought you were going with that. Yeah.
Because it'll make it more viable. Because even right now, what are you gonna do with Devastator? Like, what would be honestly? Let's be real. What is the purpose of the Devastator? Even if he was able to do some type of damage, right?
To get kicked from lobbies.
Exactly.
Putting
I mean,
elites on status immunity.
yeah. You see what I mean? Like it has
Endless
no purpose,
massing.
but I
Impales.
feel like if you give him that debuff and say, hey, this is a guy that's gonna utilize his skills and he's gonna be, he's just gonna do this. This is what he's gonna do, but he also debuffs you. I think like now people be more inclined to utilize him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, the same reason people are playing debuff Pyro with thermal bomb and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? It's
Yeah,
the
but that shit
support.
does damage, though. That shit does damage too, though. You know what I mean?
Well,
It does
sure.
help
But I
out.
mean, but you know the idea, right? They're sacrificing their
Right.
damage as a support idea, which I think is something they need to look at as well
Yeah. Beautiful, man.
as a
Did
gameplay loop that people enjoy.
Right. Did we go over the pyro changes yet or no?
Not yet.
Oh no, we
Okay.
just we just
Started.
got done with Devastator. If you want to start
Okay.
it.
I don't even have it up, man. Like I just said, I just jumped on the PC and was like, oh shit.
Well, I'm sure Math can start this spiral thing while you wake
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so the Lava Lich set, it appears they're buffing the set bonus, which is 30%. It's a 30% damage increase and cooldown reduction to eruption, correct?
Lava
Do you know
Leech.
Big Daddy? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I'm not too
Let me
familiar with
check.
the set. Is anyone else familiar with Lava Lich set? But I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Hey, doesn't
I
it
wrote
say
that
it
down,
there?
actually.
We'll have its cooldown
Yeah, okay.
reduce. Yeah.
Increases
provides increase of
damage
30%
and
from 10.
decreases cooldown of eruption.
So is that significant? I mean, is there anyone you know that's using eruption right now?
No,
Maybe
but I know
it'll
that
make people use it.
well, there's
I
people
mean,
that
there
want to
is.
use it. They want to. People want to come like I said on Thursday. Like people want to come up with this like boom boom build, right? Where all they want to
Mhm.
do is use thermal bomb and eruption, and all they want to do is just sit there making shit explode. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what they want. That's they find that exciting. The thing is, like, with eruptions, the animation, man,
Oh yeah,
the
it's brutal.
animation.
Also, the
Not,
range, like the range on it
yes.
is pretty bad. Like, yeah, the range of effectiveness.
Right.
It's a lot of screen clutter too.
Mm-hmm.
How
So
you trying to
now,
hit crits on a eruption?
Yeah.
Impossible.
right. So I just feel like, I mean, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? You're trying to make a couple of you're trying to make these skills, an option now, like, well, people want to use them and make them effective, but it's like, let's look at the animation, and let's look at the range, and let's make those things good before we buff them, because I mean, I personally think if the animation sucks and the range sucks on it, you can buff it all you want, I'm still not going to use it.
That's how I feel about Phaser. I mean, I know it's in a good spot, but the animation and like the
3
cast
second
time
cast
isn't.
time. It's
Yeah,
just
no,
the
thank
worst
you.
part about Phaser.
I mean, actually, that's a good point, right? Is there Phaser legendary set?
Mm.
And I feel like they should have. Feel like they should have took this opportunity to like kill one of the sets that's kind of useless and turn it into a Phaser set.
Maybe turn Lava Lich into a Phaser set instead.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because I don't think Lava Lich and like anybody's using it and having a lot of fun with it. I don't think, that's like one of the sets you'd never see.
Right.
And also, the set bonus, like what are they only adding 20% cooldown to the set bonus? Like I feel
Yeah,
like
that's what
the
it
old
sounds
set
like.
needs a lot more love than this. So
Yeah, the cooldown on the eruption is big, man. It's like 17 seconds or something like that.
well, yeah, I mean the change is good, like for this, but I feel like they could add like using eruption makes your next phaser do 200% more damage or something.
I'd be
Mhm.
kind of interested to see like a Phaser set, like have a bonus along with something else that reduces his cast time as well. Because
Well, yeah, I do
in the
think a
future,
phaser set
kinda
is
hot.
what they should be doing, honestly. Because yeah,
More fun to play
People
than
love that
Eruption,
shit.
honestly.
People love that shit. That is true. People do love that shit. They're intrigued by it. So let's make something. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and
'cause, yeah, I mean,
people love
sorry.
that feeling. You like that the Kamehameha, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Power
It's not
fantasy.
exactly.
Yeah, I agree with what Wolverine just said too. The game needs more supportability, more because people, like, surprisingly, people enjoy playing that role.
Do you remember a few months ago when there was like everyone was using like T-bombs and just debuffing everything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
That
do
was so
remember that.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, it's kind of like a prerequisite into getting, actual pyro gear. Is
True.
the game makes it easy for you to start
No,
debuffing? Like,
not at all. Not at all.
No?
People want to be a support.
Oh.
Yeah,
People like.
I mean, that
playing
wasn't my
debuffs.
intention. Sorry, from my perspective, right? I just
Yeah,
ran
no,
until I
like
could get
literally,
gear. Yeah.
people enjoy the gameplay of
Mhm.
making their teammates do more damage and seeing those elites disappear
Yeah.
because they're like they're not doing damage, but they can see the impact of what they're doing, right? I
Right.
think that's something that
Yeah, you're not
BCF
wrong
needs
there.
to lock in, and
Well,
try and make like happen more often. 'Cause
exactly, and
that's definitely a mechanic in the game that is successful, I think.
yes, think about it. Like, a lot of people really don't know how to. I don't want to say don't know how to play the game, but it's like, the game is actually difficult. It's not an easy game to play. So
Exactly.
if they can group up and, let's just say Play-Doh, for prime example, you're just alone by yourself and you're like, damn, I want to do a couple runs today. Anybody want to help me do some carries or whatever? And then they could be like, oh yeah, I can help you. And they're just sitting there like, they feel like they're playing a part. It's not like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
not like when you're like playing any other game and you're just like helping people through and you just tell them, hey man, just shoot ads, don't worry about nothing else. But you're basically doing the bulk of the work, you and your team, and they're just there for the ride.
I'm never not opposed to, or if that's the word, I'm like to getting a debuff anything on my team, right? Like
Exactly.
anything that'll make me do percentage more damage to anything,
Right.
I'll fucking take it. Like,
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like perfect synergy, right? People
Yep.
that are damage addicts love the debuffs, and people that like supporting, that's
Mhm.
perfect for them as well. So
Yeah, just if they lack the knowledge, I think that they love to sit in this role. Like, oh yeah, I got you, bro. I'm gonna just, give
it's
them
also
a
a very
fucking
safe
job.
build to play too, right? Like
Mhm.
you're Like you get like the skill leech and all that stuff too. So
Yep.
I mean,
Oh,
you
we're
got survivability and
going off
debuffs.
topic. Sorry.
Yeah, we are. It's okay. We can move on to the reforged set now. Capo and Big Daddy, you
Oof.
guys can discuss this how you want because this is a big chunk here. So
Just
I'll leave it
before
to
we
you
move on to that
guys and
massive
Maffeine
thing,
as
I just
well.
wanted to say, actually, Lavish Lich is a phaser beam set, but they should just make it better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, you
but,
can
I
go,
mean,
Capo.
Maffeine, do
it,
you
it
want to start off
has.
the reforged set? Actually, sorry.
I was gonna say it has like some of the mods to go with phaser beam, but I would say definitely change the set bonus to phaser beam oriented instead of eruption.
Yeah. Like eruptions should be your like filler in between phasers, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
idea.
So, yeah. So the reforged set. I mean, honestly, the only part of reforged that I used was pulling the branded mod. But
Same.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's how it was for most people too. But
I think they. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I actually had to look into this because I wasn't sure like how the reforged set worked, but apparently it was used with T-bomb and Feed the Flames previously, and I was really confused by that because I've never really seen that combo before.
Well, he used to just flat buff like by 50% their damage.
I see.
Got you. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting change they're doing because it's you're like basically flip flopping back and forth between Feed the Flames and thermal bombs. I think is their intent of this build. Or this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick interrupt here, but I like how they said it was intended to be a long range firepower set. So I hope like this shift into now, supporting anomaly damage builds for Reforge means that they have something in the pipeline for a firepower pyro.
Oh man, please.
Oh my
I would
God,
love it.
that would be beautiful. And I thought
Uh,
that this was actually a great idea. I don't know if we've read the first one, but as you can see, it says the Reforge head armor piece, the cowl of the Reforge. The health attribute is now being replaced by anomaly power. The long range attribute is being replaced by with either cooldown reduction or skill leech. And the change makes the helmet more suitable to the set new functionality of an anomaly power oriented build, which I think is fantastic because just like you said, the branded set, right? What is it? Branded gives you 40% more
Yeah.
damage, right?
Yeah.
40% more damage. So now it's like you can run this set once again, debuff, right? You can legitimately run this set right here, and now your T bombs are doing more damage. So now it's like not only are you debuffing your teammates, but you're 100% you doing some work because T bombs do have the potential to do a good amount of damage. Um, just once again, the only thing about T bombs is the animation. I constantly ask that question, and they're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, nah, we're not gonna give it the impale love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love for them to give it the Impale Love because I know it's only like a
Oh,
second or two, but oh man, that second or two
hmm
is
it means something. But
yeah.
people are definitely gonna enjoy this. So I think that this is a good change for the Reforge. And dude, if you could, if you, I mean, your point of view on that portion right there, at least.
Oh, I mean, right, the first portion, which
Yeah,
is that they're slapping on good stats on the helmet. I mean,
exactly.
let's go,
Yeah.
finally. But I mean, to be fair, like I can see where they were going, with the thermal bombs and feed the flames
hmm
firepower set. I can see what they were going, but it's like if you're putting firepower on a set, why is the set bonus anomaly based? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So definitely there was like some confusion on this set when they made it,
Yeah.
but it feels like they're trying to fix that, which I am happy with that.
All right.
I mean, can't go wrong with some of the changes that I'm reading here. Like I'm reading a
Nah.
little ahead, but
But I mean,
they're kind
I'll
of fine.
just start straight away with saying, thermal bomb. Actually, using thermal bomb to do damage. That's an interesting idea
Yeah.
because
That's
And
a
then.
you need to cast it on something that is around other things, and then that thing
hmm
needs to die at the right time to hit everything around it. So it's not an easy skill to use to do damage. And feed the flames is extremely limited in its
And it's
target
ranged too.
acquisition. It's
hmm
target acquisition. Like I what 4 people you can hit at most, and they need to be like right next to you. So yeah, I think the
Um.
problem of this skill will just be actually using your skills to do damage.
They are adding a lot of nice synergies, though. If anybody wants to move on to the chest piece part of it, and
Yes,
then
the Reforged chest armor set. All right, Armor of the Reforged will have its mod swapped. So the bullet absorption mod will now be replaced with the Ash Grasp mod, which inflicts ash on all enemies in thermal bomb AOE range prior to its explosion. So anytime that
kinda
you
hot.
hit that thermal bomb, that AOE, and we all know Plato loves AOE, right? You hit, let's say you hit a boss, right? And what I'm thinking about is definitely Colosseum. You hit that first behemoth, right? And then the next room you go in and there's the brood mother. But you hit them with a thermal bomb and whatever's around them is gonna get ashed. Maybe what is it called? Ash. What's that mod that gives you 20%?
Ashen boost.
Yeah, Ashton boost. There you go. That would give you Ashton boost. That could
I
probably
mean,
be a viability now if you're getting debuff. That's 20%. But these are just
you could go
options.
top tree as well. You could
Yeah.
go top tree as well. Maybe with this
Mhm.
build.
That Moaning
Yeah.
Lance is gonna hit.
Yep.
So
So
are we thinking that the third ability to be used with this set will be overheat because there's ash from Feed the Flames and there's going to be ash from T-bombs?
No, I wouldn't use
no.
overeat without bonus AP. I'd
Yeah.
use either a debuff ability or utility ability. Either or.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Probably still Heat Wave, right? If I'm
Yeah.
remembering.
Okay.
Probably just for the free debuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Or Ash Blast for the dead sentence. Either one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yep.
yeah, ash must be great.
Yeah. So you have, like I said, man, the cogwheels are moving right now, and that's good.
Well, I
And,
mean, that's what they need. They need more
yes.
synergy, for
Yep.
sure.
So this should make thermal bomb much easier to use as part of this set, and I think that's great. That's a
Oh, this
phenomenal
next
thing.
change.
Yeah, now this is where we're going.
Yeah,
right?
this one's
the,
hot.
before
I was
they-
lower
reading this
armor.
earlier.
Yeah,
Oh, you wanna
the
do it?
waist
Okay.
cloth. The wildfire mod has been replaced with with fire frenzy mod, which provides an additional use of thermal bomb.
Oh yeah, basically they're slapping a meta mod
Mhm.
on the
Yep.
set, which is just perfect. Thank you.
That's-
Thank you,
yeah,
PCF, for doing
exactly.
your job.
Yeah, that's actually perfect. Now I don't have to
You have
worry
more
about
options
removing
now.
a mod.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about losing a mod. It's already there. I already have it.
I like this
Um,
change a lot, and it kind of gives me hope for other sets too, that they plan
Right.
to rework, because they understand that it's nice to have, and then you can just slap on another damage mod or whatever you need, not have to worry about putting fire frenzy, and then losing something else that you want to use. So nice to have that already included.
Would you guys be
Yeah.
using double fun as well for this build, or
Oh
I give
man,
it a shot,
Friends?
100%.
Yeah.
I give it a shot. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess you'd need to, right? To have more.
Yeah, you hit an extra target.
AOE.
Yeah,
Because I feel like the set
target
is just
for-
now, thermal bomb is what you want to be using with this set. So
right. The Reforged Feet set piece, Boots of the Reforged. The Nova Master mod will be replaced by Anomaly Hunger mod. By making this change, we expect the Feed the Flame skill to deal more damage, making it a better tool to detonate thermal bomb. So essentially, what they want you to do right here is they want you to hit your thermal bomb, and then they want you to use Feed the Flame right after that.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that. Is the
yeah, I was gonna
Nova
say.
Master is skill range. So they're replacing range with damage. So there's definitely something there that's not great.
Mm-hmm.
I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think like their idea is you want to be up close with this, right?
Right.
Up close and personal. Like, let's just say, for example, you pop your heat waves, you pop your thermal bombs, and then you just feed the flames, and whatever elite is dead.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
Huh.
let's be clear. Like Anomaly Hunger is not great because it
It's not.
increases the skills damage by value of skill leech.
Mm.
Like Anomaly Hunger
did
is not a
say-
good mod, so they're basically replacing a pretty useful mod for something that feels like it's kind of bad.
well, what about this?
Mm-hmm.
They did say they would replace either a cooldown, the long range
Reduction?
attribute with either CDR or skill leech. So would that
Would
that
that
make
play
it
a
better in
role?
your eyes, Big Daddy? If
I'd
it's
put
all
CDR.
sorry.
I'd put CDR
vote
for
CDR.
sure.
For
Yeah,
Oh,
CDR all the way. If you're going AP, CDR is what's gonna that's what you always want, right? Because you want to be able to spam your freaking your what's it called? Your skills as much as possible. All right. And then in
Yeah, I
the
guess you're
bottom it
right.
says, yeah, the set bonus reforged set will have his damage bonus increased to 75. So it's going from 50 to 75%, and using feed the flame. So basically using thermal bomb increases the next damage of feed the flame by 75%. And then it's using if you use feed the flame, it increases the next thermal bomb by 75%. So essentially, I think right here we're falling into that category where it's like we're kind of obligated to use feed the flame here. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah,
I
it looks like that's
mean,
what their
pretty
intention is.
much. Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
amount of mods that are for Feed the Flames on this set kind of force you to use it, basically.
Yeah. So I definitely would like to take a look at this.
So is the
And
goal here then using T-bomb, then use one of the T-bomb charges, feed the flame, and then use the
the next
next
T-bomb.
T-bomb, and then feed the
Yeah.
flame if there's CDR. So I guess that's how they, see it working.
Yeah.
Well, basically, right? Feed the Flames is your single target, and Thermal Bomb
Yeah.
is your AoE. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to play it in practice because as someone who hasn't played Pyro, like some of the gameplay on this looks questionable to me. But
I mean, a
it's-
skill you could right slide into this is what Phaser Beam, maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feed the Flames, Thermal Bomb, Phaser Beam, like type things.
Yep. Absolutely.
could be hot.
There's definitely
be.
some things you could do with that. Don't know if
Yeah.
it's better than Nakari, but something.
Yeah. It's
I did.
I mean it's worth trying. It's worth giving it a try. Because if you do, I mean, no, you won't use it. But in the faction, the way where Big Daddy just described, I think I don't know. We would have to test it to see, but that has a possibility to be pretty good.
Oh yeah,
You know.
at least viable.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is they did change the set, so the damage isn't free anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You need to actually use the other ability before it. So I think if they're gonna do that, just keep in mind that these abilities do basically nothing. So could you up that damage a bit? Thank you, PCF.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I did also want to take this opportunity to plug Big Daddy's Pyro Guide. It's nothing about the Reforged set, but if you guys are interested in a nice Ash Blast Overheat in-depth Pyro Guide, be sure to check it out and use it while you can.
Man.
If you are interested in meta slave content.
And then we have Trickster. This is
Okay, yeah.
Plato's baby.
Sure, yeah, I can talk about the Trickster one. This one I actually kind of like. So the Trespasser set has a pretty lackluster bonus right now, which is player characters inside the slow trap cannot die. I don't know any instance where this would be useful at all, by the way. Like, I read this set when I was first playing the game, and I was like, oh man, I love slow bobble. Oh man, end game, this is gonna be hot. Boy, was I wrong. The Trespasser set is practically useless, aside from the Cowl, which has good stats. That you can use as an interim before you get your best in slot gear. But the new set bonus is looking hot. It says increase the damage by 6% per enemy affected by a deception skill, which includes slow trap, Venator's knife, and time rift. And they would still keep the players inside the slow trap, will not die. This is something that I'd be interested to try. I necessarily might not use it with Venator's knife, but with time
BRB
rift,
boys.
I can see the potential. No worries, Capo, being quite insane. You have the
it's
time
just
rift, you have the
amazing.
long range. Yeah.
But that's what every set needs to be. It needs to become
Yeah.
damage. You need
Yeah.
to have a reason to actually go and use the legendary set. And the only way you're gonna get people to actually use it is damage. And it seems like they finally figured it out for Trickster, at least.
Yeah, because now like this makes me want to run the Trespasser set 100%, because now one thing they didn't. This is the part where I don't know what the diminishing returns is, right? What is the duration of this damage buff?
Well, they
is
didn't
it-
say either duration or stack limit or anything like that.
Yeah,
So who knows?
this part's a little off, but like if the damage buff is for like even 10 seconds,
Yeah, it'll be 10 seconds. 10 seconds
if
is
it's
the
like-
standard for the game.
oof. If it's 10 seconds, man, I can see sometimes where like that 6% can get stacked up to so much with certain maps. I'm thinking like Chemplan, thinking Boomtown, just where anywhere there's like a cluster of enemies. that's a hot damage increase. And with the new fortress change, I could see this like the synergy working super well here. So I have no
Oh yeah, it
complaints about this.
kind of seems like they're like directly targeting firepower Trickster. They're like, okay, so
Yeah.
Trickster will lose a bunch of damage because Fortress will become pretty bad. So let's
Yeah.
give him a major set upgrade. And I like, thank God whoever did this change, I can put him at CEO.
Yeah, this is a hot change, and it's, in my opinion, I think it's the best change to come out of this this entire legendary set rework is the Trickster set. Not being biased or anything, but the new buffs this provides is amazing. And you would still run the, hunt the prey, what is it, twisted rounds, and either Venator's Knife or Time Rift. I still think the slow trap on this will have diminishing returns. Like, nobody will use the slow trap functionality of this just because of its cooldown. To be honest, the cooldown is insane on slow trap. Maybe if they got rid of the cooldown to be a bit more
Well,
in line, it
also,
could be a little
you
bit
need to
better.
remember slow trap, right? Range.
Yeah, also the range compared to Time Rift with long range is just unquestionable.
Well,
So-
both Venator's Knife and Time Rift will be way more
Oh, that's true.
reliable at proccing the
That's
set
true.
than slow trap, where you need to be in melee range to proc it.
Sorry, I kind of just disliked Venator's Knife because Time Rift is just superior in every way, but that's my bad.
Well, will you be able to run enough mods on the
Might be
Trespasser
able
set?
to. We'll see though. That'll definitely be the question. I'm sure you can make some changes here and there, to make it work. But maybe you may not need the vulnerable one anymore, Geiger's Wave, now that you get 6% on every enemy afflicted. That stack, so maybe that gets rid of Geiger's Wave as an option, or you can just get rid of double time because half the time it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
wouldn't be horrible, I suppose. I mean, definitely be hot to try and Time Worn. I mean, not Time Worn, sorry, Drought Palace, but with the Fortress nerfs or Ash Blast, Overheat Pyro, I don't know. Would that make much of a difference? Sorry, I'm getting out of topic here, but on paper, this Trickster Trespasser set is hot and definitely will get a lot of traction. And honestly, might just end up being the new meta build for Trickster now that there's a set bonus that actually is worthwhile using in the entire Trickster set for firepower, at least.
Only
The
thing I'll
attri-
see.
the
Oh, yeah.
attributes on the Trespassers are really good too.
Yeah, that's one thing I did overlook. Maffeine, you want to cover that?
I'm just browsing, and all these other sets you're seeing, they're saying like, changing attributes, etc. But like, if I'm seeing right, it looks like Trespassers has like bonus firepower, close range, cooldown across the
Yes,
board
sir.
almost.
On most of the gear. Yep.
Oh man,
Yeah, so
which is
it's two
exactly what you
for,
want.
the headpiece, the chest piece, the talons, and sorry, not the talons, and the pants. So I'm not
Oh,
sure
yeah.
which 3 set pieces you would run, but from the look of it, I would definitely run Trespasser's Cowl because it gives you a free long range for Time Rift. Now the chest piece is a bit interesting because it's both slow trap mods, so probably would not use the chest piece if we're not running slow trap.
Mhm.
You have the talons, which is really nice because it gives you pain transfer. You do lose, I
Oh,
think,
wait.
bonus firepower.
Wait, actually, yeah, you're right. I forgot that part. Yeah, you can just slap on those 2 pieces and do the Time Rift build.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, it'll be
So,
meta. Yeah, never mind.
yeah,
It's,
it'll
it's
be pretty
meta.
hot.
Confirm it's
The
meta.
pants, I'm not sure on pants because I think the pants are kind of worthless here. Does anybody know what the Trespasser Boots comes with? Let me check this real quick.
See, I don't see it on this site that I'm looking at.
What is the mods for Trespasser Boots? Oh, Stare into the Barrel and Weakening Zone. So yeah, Stare into the Barrel for the boots. So I think it would be head, gloves, and boots. Exactly, you got it right.
I think,
Head,
I
gloves,
think
boots.
you could get easily away with running the pants, honestly.
You could, but like,
Because like,
and
you're
another one
losing-
is so
you start to
buggy.
lose. Like, losing the talons, I see it. Losing the boots, not really. Not really.
I mean, like, and another one is so buggy, and then a little bit of
Is
pain.
it?
That's anomaly
Is it
stuff.
buggy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And another one is super buggy. Shots on enemies afflicted by the skill do not consume ammo. Boy, when I tested this mod, there were so many times where I just like, the Death Slam emoji for the amount of time shit in Time Rift didn't like actually, even when they were completely affected by it. I saw the vulnerable, they were being floated up in the air, not like spawn iframes or anything like that. You just didn't get ammo back. So maybe they can.
Well, yeah. So whatever. I mean, the damage bonus should make up for the loss of firepower for sure. But now I also wanted to speak about AP Trickster.
Oh yeah,
Like,
please go ahead.
where's the AP Trickster buff for the set? Where is it?
Coming soon.
I mean,
I'm sure it's coming soon. It has
yeah,
to
no,
be.
I know. I'm just, I'm just telling PCF, please buff AP Trickster. It needs it. Please, thank you.
Yeah.
I also, while we have PCF's ear, can we also buff Firepower Technomancer? I'm not able to
What?
complete CT15s with Firepower Technomancer, and I think we need to give a little bit more love to Firepower Technomancer.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
2
would
million
I-
crits per headshot.
Put ammo
What?
regen. Put ammo regen on the Torturer set, please. Thank you.
What?
I'm trolling, obviously.
Moving on to torrential downpour set. Since
Moving
we
on to
wanna
the
bring
Techno
up-
set.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm just gonna read through the whole thing, and then I'm gonna give just a spill real quick.
Sure.
The torrential downpour said that the extra cluster bomb spawn by the set bonus of the torrential downpour set will have their deployment time reduced. A bug that is preventing an extra mine deployment after a direct hit will also be fixed. The Grim Inventor set, the set bonus of it has been changed so that the tools of destruction will be able to be refilled multiple times during its duration. The old set bonus was while the tool of destruction is active, a confirmed hit with ping launcher refills 20% ammo for both miniguns and the RPG. This only happens once for each tool of destruction usage. The new version just basically says while the tools of destruction is active, a confirmed hit with ping launcher refills 20% of the ammunition for both miniguns and the RPG. I'm gonna start with this inventor set. First things first, great. Now people can use it. They can do their thing. They can, every time they get a hit, a confirmed hit, 20% of the ammunition is gonna be refilled. Great, that's awesome. Thank you. Right? Here's the problem: it lacks damage.
Mhm.
Okay, it lacks damage. So if it's lacking damage, I mean, I get it, nice, thank you, but it needs a buff. Number one. Number two, this extra cluster bomb spawn. I mean, I don't see the viability in it. Only good thing I can get out of the cluster bomb is that you get the 30% weapon damage. So now that you have an extra one, you get, you're able to maybe refresh it.
Oh, no,
no,
that's
It
not
doesn't?
nice.
no,
Okay.
no,
Well then,
no.
I don't.
It's
I don't.
AP. It's the
Yeah.
AP effect of the bonus of the set bonus.
Okay. So I don't personally. This is what I feel about Technomancer. As long as that FP Technomancer is as strong as it is, there's no reason to deviate from Borealis and a full purple set. That's just my opinion fully. I know people want to
you're
try
not
this
wrong,
tools of
'cause I'm
destruction.
reading these changes, and the biggest issue with these changes is where's the damage, right? Like Big Daddy said
Exactly.
earlier. Like with the Trickster, the Trespasser set looks appealing because you have that damage now that you're losing from the Fortress changes. But with the Torrential Downpour and the Grim Inventor set, they're just making it a bit more quality of life changes rather than holy shit,
Yeah.
AP Technomancer is gonna like at least rival Firepower Techno in some way. Maybe they'll make some class changes, but like on paper, both the Torrential and the Grim Inventor set, even with these changes, are still going to be bad. Like, going to be hot ass, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there's just no damage.
For torrential downpour. I think the problem with the shrapnel, using shrapnel for damage, is like there's too many charges. Like the torrential downpour build has 6 charges of shrapnel, 6 different shrapnels you need to throw before the skill goes on cooldown, which I think is just a mistake, right? Instead of
Yep.
having 6, you should have 3 charges, right? Like the mod that gives double, just make it do more damage to shrapnel or something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you should do, right? Reduce the charges, increase the radius and damage of shrapnel. That's what they need to do because right now, shrapnel just feels like you're throwing little pebbles at people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they need to make the shrapnel cast way more like important and significant to
Yeah.
make this build actually fun to play. So
Because
that's
the whole
Yeah.
build is fundamentally Scrapnel, and Scrapnel is just so, I don't know,
Yeah,
not
no,
even
it's bad to.
undervalued. It's
It's
just
not fun to use. It's
yeah.
not fun to use.
So that's what I just say. At the end of the day, there's Technomancer has set a standard as far as FP damage, right? The amount of damage that it puts out. And unless you're gonna give anything else more damage, you have no reason, no option. That I mean, I can't even justify a reason to do anything else with Technomancer besides Borealis or
Yeah.
a full purple build. Like you
Capo,
haven't given me a reason.
Well, no, but we're
I
not.
want to.
That's
Sorry.
the problem is we're not. We're not arguing that it's meta. Like that's something you need to remember.
No, but I would prefer for them to at least give me something viable, something that says, hey, you know what? Yeah, I get that the Borealis and a full purple does an insane amount of damage, but you know what? I can use tools of destruction, and I'm gonna do some damage. Is it gonna be just as much? No, but I can at least accomplish the mission. I can get stuff done. I can do some damage. Unless you're giving me damage here, I'm still not gonna use it.
I mean, let's say it this way instead, okay? If AP builds are using Borealis, there's a problem. Let's say it this way.
One thing I did want to mention about Borealis, Capo, and I don't know if you've talked to Toby about this in any capacity, but what's the stacking intended? That's the one, because when you read the mod, it looks like on paper, if you read between the lines, it's intended, just like with, I guess, Death Sentence. Is it like with Death Sentence? I don't know.
No.
Sorry. It's just like, it looks like it was an oversight because there's no way they intended for it to stack 3 times, depending on how many people run the set. I don't think they were like doing this and they were going, oh wow, what if they have 3 sets, 270% damage? Could that be problematic? No. We'll leave it as it is. So I think that's an oversight, and I think it's only supposed to give you a flat 90 to anybody just wearing the set, which would make so much more sense than
instead of
stacking.
270.
Yes, but I also wanted to ask you this, Big Daddy. You points out that Scrapnel needs to be a debuff mod and not a damage mod. Would you agree?
What?
Because
What?
you said Scrapnel needs a debuff mod, not a damage mod. Like you pop a Scrapnel and it debuffs enemies instead.
No, it's not a debuff ability.
Nah, I would prefer Scrapnel to definitely be a damage mod. To have a damage.
It just
mod,
needs
100%.
love in the damage department.
Yeah, it does.
So.
It does. I mean, all of it. Everything outside of
everything AP.
Yeah, everything.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a damage mod. Like that's not what I meant. It was just an idea. I said like this. I'm just saying they need to remove the mod that gives more charges for no reason, and like give it AOE, more range, more AOE.
Oh no, I 100%
damage,
agree with you there.
Like triple the bouncing mines, anything, right? Just to make it a more interesting ability to use.
They need to make the Scrapnel range the barrels range, and I'll be happy. Just do that. Just do that.
So I have a take on this Grim Inventor set.
Oh yes, sir.
I think that the pain launcher being involved in it, I do not think that should be a thing. I think they should change it to a hit with the minigun or a hit with the RPG can replenish. Because I mean, it's not a strong set by any means. The damage is bleh. Like if you could keep RPG up, if you could keep the minigun up through the duration, like that's kind of like that gameplay loop that Blighted Rounds has. So if you could have a different gameplay loop like that based around based around minigun or RPG, that could be kind of cool.
I like the idea.
Yeah,
because I don't
it's
see
actually
how
not
Pain
bad.
Launcher does. Like I've used Pain Launcher before, and it's not a pure AP focused build, but like Pain Launcher doesn't do damage, man.
No.
No, it absolutely
really
does
it.
It
And sure, you get
absolutely
like the
does
20% refill on ammunition when you do launch Pain Launcher, but like, are you really gonna run an ability just to get 20% ammo back?
No.
I mean, I guess you would if you have no other option, but like, it feels.
I mean, I'll
Like, I
say
like
this,
Maffeine.
right? Like they looked at the set and they didn't buff anything about it, so maybe that
So
means
nothing
that
changes,
the
man.
abilities are getting looked at. Maybe that means the abilities are getting
maybe.
looked at and not the set. Because I mean,
be.
the
I hope so.
abilities need love. That's the problem. It's like minigun and RPG. RPG does little damage.
No damage.
Minigun slows you down to 10% movement speed, and Pain Launcher has the AoE range of a single line. So they need to look at both of those abilities like in depth and try and rework him. Honestly,
Yeah, on paper, this looks horrible for Technomancer. Like, it doesn't change Torrential Downpour or Grim Adventure set at all. And it's just that, like, on paper. We don't know what changes they have in mind by going to the class tree or the abilities, but, like, at first glance, this changes nothing about putting AP Technomancers online with Firepower Technomancers. And I do not want PCF to just start nerfing Firepower Technomancer randomly.
No.
You know what I mean? Because that would just be just awful for the game. Just, more nerfs here and there. But I really want them to maybe dive deep more into the AP Technomancer and also AP Trickster as well. I'm sure that's coming to make them up to line with Firepower Techno. And that goes for,
I didn't
everything,
so I dropped this. I will leave you guys with this because I definitely got to get back to work. But I put this package in there. I threw this up against the wall and hopefully it stuck. And I dropped this package on to Toby, and I basically told him this. I said, listen, the community wants to play Firepower Pyro. Okay? Take Firepower, and he was like, all right, well, what should we do? I said, first and foremost, it needs a dedicated mod to replenish ammo. And when I say that, I mean something that's equivalent to Toxic Lead and Trick Up the Sleeves. It needs one. It's a must, right? And then when you compare it to what's it called? When you compare it to Technomancer, right? He said, is it because of the dominance of the Technomancer? I said, well, yeah, obviously the dominance, but the Technomancer has nodes where it has extra rounds, right? In the magazine, if I'm not,
yeah, you're right.
I'm right,
correct.
yeah.
UT14 clips.
Right. So you have that, and then not only that, but Technomancer has all the fucking cool mods. You know what I'm saying? It has all the cool mods that's gonna put. I said we need to either buff volcanic rounds a little bit, right? Give it a little bit of love. Give it a little bit of love, but we want the major thing that Pyromancer needs is a dedicated mod to replenish ammo, equivalent to Trick Up the Sleeve and Toxic Leg. The second thing I said is we need to look at the Torturer set. Okay, I get it. The rounds are bigger 3 times, but what is it doing for me? It's doing nothing. So instead of making the rounds bigger, how about you add damage to it, right? To burnt enemies or whatever the case may be.
They could tie the ammo regen to the set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
I would
give
like
it more
just
damage.
any sort of ammo regen because forcing to use the Lucky Jinx or putting Pep Mobile, it's just horrible. And the fact that the ammo capacity, here's the thing: if they could make changes to other assault rifles to where tactical variants aren't so OP, that's where the ammo issue kind of lies. I think not having that ammo regen natively with the mod and just being just not having increased ammo clips somewhere. So maybe they can tie both of that into the set, right? Increased ammo clips and like some sort of ammo.
What I'd say is change the node that gives like less reload time.
Yeah.
Change that node on top 3 Pyro to magazine
and make it
size.
replenish.
Yeah.
Increase magazine,
No.
exactly.
Yeah,
because
just like every other firepower class.
Legendary set, I want ammo on it. And I mean, let's be clear, okay? This isn't because of Techno thing, okay? Techno is fun to play. Sure, the fact that it does damage helps, but the gameplay loop of infinite ammo is a fun gameplay loop.
It is.
Yep.
And they need
Trickster
to
has
just
it too.
realize that we want it on Pyro. That's it. That's all we want. We don't want it to be better or buffed or meta. We just want to use it and have fun. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't want PCF like going with like the narrative like, well, you already have ammo regen in the form of like Pep Mobile and you can use like Lucky Jinx and use Toxic Lead and all that, but it's not fun. You're doing no damage.
No.
It's just not fun.
Right.
The whole point of like trying to like cookie cutter something to make firepower work, and I have tried. Let me be honest, I have tried. It just doesn't work unless you're using Lucky Jinx, and even then you're kind of forced to run, unoptimal mods, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so afraid to, make these synergies happen. Because honestly, like, I don't think anything is gonna beat the current meta.
I would ask you this question. You see how Technomancer has prime example has like, let's say Borealis. How about they introduce a
Huge.
set for, let's say they introduce a set just like that for Trickster and Pyro.
They did
You
for
could
Trickster,
change it
kind
up,
of. So
right?
I'll give them that.
And then you give it to Pyro, and now people are going to be like, "Oh, I have options." You know what I'm saying?
Kari is
Fundamentally,
basically Kari is basically Borealis.
yeah,
Yeah.
fundamentally, Capo, firepower power will just not work unless there's some sort of increased magazine size and ammo replenish.
Well,
That's not.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if they add that into it, and I'm just saying, take a look at the Torturer set. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's worthless if you ask me.
No, it is worthless.
No,
I
It's
mean,
it's
think
worthless.
bad.
about it this way, right? It's a firepower set, but the effect it increases, like the bonus, the set bonus amplifies the AP effect of volcanic rounds,
Mm-hmm.
meaning it's completely useless, right? It's
Right.
same as Reforged set. Like they put the set bonus as AP, but the set on the attribute set as like bonus firepower in long range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or actually, it just had long range, but no, it's just there's like a confusion, a lack of synergy in the set. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
they need to do with every set, every skill tree,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. I
Look at
just
the
think
lack of synergy and bring it in.
Yeah. This isn't like a techno's OP like kind of discussion, right? Like it's the reason techno is so good and so OP is synergy
because
is
no one.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
I mentioned in my advanced Technomancer guide, which I'm going to plug here real quick, and I'll have that in the description below with Big Daddy's Pyro guide as well. But like I mentioned in that guide when we went over the class tree, the amount of synergies Technomancer has, not only with its skills, but with the class tree and the mods, is just absolutely insane. You know, you have that poison synergy that's literally everywhere. Your skill tree, your mods. You have the long range damage synergy, right? You have the ammo round synergy. Like whoever made Technomancer knew what they were doing as far as the top tree goes in terms of like the synergy that is available within the game, and that is why
Mhm.
Technomancer is in such a good spot, and that's why it is one of the, it is the most OP class in the game when you start
Mhm.
running the firepower set, when you start getting best in slot gears because of this synergy. And you can even have a budget build of a Technomancer that just uses T1 and T2 mods that surpasses firepower Trickster even, right? And even
Mhm.
firepower Pyro by a good enough margin. So a lot of the other classes need this love for firepower. Trickster's kind of in an okay spot, but like as far as Devastator and Pyro goes, it's definitely lacking in the top tree synergy. So yeah,
Mm.
that's my thoughts on
I
that.
just think, I just wanted to throw that. I just think a lot of, and me personally, I've gotten a lot of the, man, firepower, fire. Listen, number one problem is definitely we've already called this the ammo replenish, right? Definitely that's a major issue. But I think if we do something with the torturer set, give it a little bit more damage, whatever the case may be for a FP build. Hey, people will enjoy it. They won't be like everyone else, like, hey, uh we have to use techno, we don't have, no, but now people can have an option. Hey, you could go a little bit like this, or if you want to go a little bit like that. It's just, since we're on the giving us options meta right now, right? That's what you guys are explaining. I think that would definitely be huge. Do I think it would make it stronger than techno? No, I think that a lot of things has to happen for that to happen.
I
And I
mean,
don't
let's be
think,
real. Techno's getting nerfed. Techno is 100%
Oh
getting
yeah,
nerfed.
I just want to
yeah,
see what they're gonna do to not butcher the class, right? That's what I don't want to see. Um,
yeah.
so
I
what?
mean,
Because
I mean, if they're
what are
just
they?
let's just be real, right? If they're looking at Morning Winds and Fortress, they're looking at Darksack and Borealis. Like they
Well,
just are.
yeah, I guess like Darksack
They-
isn't that much of an issue anymore because Borealis exists, right? Because T3
But
freezing
yeah,
bullets.
but if you
Yeah,
nerf Borealis, then you need to nerf Darksack as well to
exactly,
bring them
right,
both down at
exactly,
the same
exactly.
time.
Because
That's
people
what I
go,
mean.
yeah. I got you, I got you.
yeah.
That's
I'm
happening.
nervous and excited
Pretty
to see
sure.
what they're gonna do
Pretty sure. But who knows what
for
other
firepower.
changes they'll bring at the same time, right? That might make it more interesting. Who knows?
This is funny that the like not funny, but like it's interesting to me that they're going through all these changes. Um, it's like a live service thing in a sense too. Not to like completely go off topic, but I mean I like it. I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people, like I saw some articles like, oh, it's not a live service game, but look at PCF making these live service changes. Well, fuck you, man. Like this is what the
I
community's
mean,
been asking for,
it's
and this is
not live
great.
service because every time you log in, there's nothing new to do, so it's not live service.
Yeah, I guess
There's
you're
no
right,
recurring
but
events. There's
yeah.
So let's be clear about that, right? It's a game
Yeah,
that you buy, you play it, you get your gears, and you get your gear, and then you stop playing it. That's okay.
I'm just saying that like I love the changes they're making. And I love that they're still working on these and not giving
Yep.
up on the game and sticking to
Yeah, yeah.
it.
No,
And
my point
yeah,
is active developers does not equal live service. Is my point.
correct.
Exactly, 100%.
I just hate people like shitting on this game any chance they get. Like for any of the
Nah.
dumbest reason, they just immediately shits on the game just to farm the views. So that part is a little triggering. Like,
So you guys want to move on to the other topics?
yeah, Maffeine, go ahead and start this off. As far as the the 4 topics you have down here in the asterisks, because
Okay.
you made an amazing topic guide, and
So
the best
quality of
ones.
life changes that you guys think would enhance the experience for all. So I think first off, one of the best quality of life changes would be like an auto run type thing. Like that's huge to have in every that's huge in every game. Like I mean, I know it's a different genre, obviously, but like many PvP games have that, and that's just such a nice thing to have, and it flows really well with the gameplay.
Full Metal must be happy that you're saying that.
I don't know. It crossed my mind.
I mean, you're not wrong though.
A minimap outline.
Yes.
What?
Oh, Big Daddy.
A minimap outline so you can see like the room on the minimap.
Ooh, wow.
Oh.
Big Daddy, that is so good. Yeah. I was reeing when we were, I think, doing Chem Plant, just because I kept slamming my fucking face while trying to look the other direction to not proc like late spawns, and I just keep ramming myself into this gate, and I was like, it'd be so nice if there was a fucking outline on the minimap that tells me if I'm about to smack my head into something.
Weapon desync, fixing weapon desync for sure. Like you can't tell me that there's no way to say that if the weapon's in my hand, like it's also on my UI, and actually the weapon I have using. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because in the bottom right, you could be holding the death shield, but in the bottom right it says Animoy, and it's like, wait a minute, well, what the fuck is going on?
Or even worse,
they need to
pistols.
put a lock in. They need to put a weapon desync lock in, so that doesn't happen anymore. That's horrible. Like I tried playing Firepower Devastator off host, right? And I wanted to swap weapons in different situations. All that happened is my weapons were desynced and doing nothing anymore. So it's like they need to fix these problems.
One thing I do want to, while we're on the topic of those minimap outlines, just give us an option to scale the minimap so it's a little bit bigger so we can see a bit more. I think that would be a nice QOL change as well. Not, it's just, it's such a tiny ass minimap, and even if they add outlines in that tiny ass minimap, it's still going to run into the problem where you can't see anything on the minimap. So maybe giving us an option to increase the minimap size a little bit would be helpful, like almost every other game has. So I wouldn't be opposed to increasing minimap size. But I think the best QOL life changes that I personally, to enhance everybody's experiences, is just the multiplayer. Just fix it. I know it's easier said than done.
Dedicated servers.
Just fix multiplayer, please, because the amount of frustration people have, and I'm not just talking about like the desyncs issues in multiplayer. I'm talking about the crashes, the oh gosh, what is it? Using damage link and time rift. I know that's not necessarily a multiplayer thing, but like instantly crashing a game, trying to use damage link and time rift with pain transfer.
We're going off topic.
We're going off topic. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's not quite
fix
quality of life.
I mean, it kind of is a quality of life change, game's not crashing.
It's a bug fix.
Yeah. Should fix it.
Boys, I hate to do this, but I gotta
go, Capo. Hey, no worries, man, Capo. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
We'll finish it off with the last 3 talking points. Yeah.
Oh, let's fucking go!
Can you not yell in our ears?
I'm sorry.
Same.
I'm sorry. I gotta go now.
Okay, same. Bye.
Have a good one, guys. Love y'all.
Yeah, okay.
Love y'all. Bye.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so by the way, we should probably mention, right? Since the reason why Capo is, just passing by basically this podcast, it's because of we're doing it Saturday, but in the future we'll be doing it Friday every week. From now on, the podcast will be Friday every week.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
So
We are
any
gonna have a
other
set
quality
time.
of life, Math? You got any idea for quality of life
Um,
change?
I do think that I do think like overall there's like a good number of settings and you know things that complement majority of people, but and it kind of flows with another topic that I had, like the controller thing. Would like to see maybe more like fine-tuned settings for controller, maybe like dead zone type stuff, maybe I don't know, just overall things that enhance that, because it's a very wonky experience. I think that
Yeah,
would
kind
go
of
a
feel
long
like
way.
controller aiming was an afterthought.
Yeah, yeah, definitely it did.
I
It's
think the
very clunky.
recommendation that we were talking about for control aim, like, rather than just making it go like when you aim something, because Maffeine, you tell me it goes directly to the chest for like every single scenario, and it's hard to actually like move the controller up or to the crit spot depending on where the crit spot is because of that snap, right? Is that like a dead zone thing? Sorry, I'm very noob when it comes to controllers and dead zone and all that.
Um, yeah, pretty much. It's just like it has that magnetizing, or that spot that it magnetizes to, and that's and it focuses that area, and you fight it. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle when you're actually trying to like aim or move from that area.
Oh yeah, I
So I
think
don't.
fixing control aim assist and just controller in general is definitely a good idea.
So
Yeah,
I
I
got
think
one
Tom made
last topic.
sorry, before we move on, Matt, you made a really
Yeah,
good
yeah.
point about how they're like changing Death Shield to become more of a mod that you use actively with your gun. You made a good point where it kind of puts controller players in a rough spot for those that enjoyed like
Mm-hmm.
the static you got from Fortress and not having to fight that controller aim assist to get a
Yeah.
really crisp gameplay loop of just being able to swap your weapons. So I can see that making a huge effect on like controller players, especially now, because you're forced to stack those. If you ever want to use Fortress again in an AP build, you're forced to aim to get those stacks, and it's not worth it. But like, you know, somebody that wants to take on that challenge, it's going to be a lot harder on controller now, rather than just getting that flat damage and just going with your Moaning Wind spam, fun stuff.
And it feels so much smoother to just like simply do your abilities and do your moaning winds and not have to worry about that, snapping onto the stomach. Ugh. Yeah,
Well, no, but
definitely hoping they're looking into that.
it's not only right the controller aiming, but just the act of disrupting your gameplay pattern with shooting,
Yeah,
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you
yeah,
got to think about that is like when you're playing an anomaly build, you can just right guess your abilities. Morning wins a bit, guess some more abilities. Like you're free to not shoot, use your times not
yeah,
shooting. But if you
yeah.
add shooting to this gameplay pattern, then that just staggers your fun basically. Like I
That's one
mean,
thing I hope
I don't think
TCF.
it
Sorry.
says I'm exaggerating a bit obviously, but I just think breaking that loop by shooting is not something everybody will want to do.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just
I
going
completely
to
agree.
also add on. Yeah, is I 100% agree with you, Big Daddy. There, it's something that's very unique to this game, as we talked about in the last podcast, and maybe that's why they didn't mention Moaning Winds here. Maybe they're taking a further look at it, and maybe they're realizing that the community does like that gameplay loop of being able to swap to 3 Moaning Winds. Maybe you can address the damage a bit, but I definitely do want them to keep the 3 Moaning Winds as a gameplay loop, or addressing the other mods that are similar to it, I suppose, like the Radiation Splash, maybe making that a little bit better. They don't want 3 Moaning Winds. Maybe
Oh
do
yeah, I
something
mean,
there.
yeah, they can slap global cooldown on money wins for sure. I just think bring up radiation splash and like yeah, that'd be good.
Maybe in Shadow Comet, bring it up a little bit too to make it a bit more useful, because it's kind of like
Yeah,
another
yeah,
viability.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah,
You wanted to address
I
something
never
as
really
well.
thought of it like that though. Honestly, it was just like literally it's like that fluid, like uninterrupted gameplay of that was a really good point. Yeah, it's just like it's just I don't know. It just feels good to throw your heat waves, you spread the ash, the moaning winds or two in between, the overheat. Just I don't know, all that. It's just so much smoother without having to aim and just cycle your abilities. So yeah, that
Yeah.
is wow. Yeah, the last topic I had was do we do we as a community do you think we would rather every legendary set provide the feel that Borealis is doing right now, just for like that power fantasy, or is that just like pure overkill?
I think the Borealis
Well,
stacking is
considering,
pure overkill, but
yeah, like considering what Plato brought up, he just like a couple minutes, like 10 minutes ago or something. Borealis is completely busted right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so in its current state, for sure, we don't want every set to be like Borealis. But if they do, make it only work for you, and make it work consistently, and I don't know, maybe change the damage of it. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think every set should be like Borealis, honestly.
yep.
Maybe not like
Minus the
a
stacking though,
status.
because we know that's probably not
Yeah,
intended to
no,
be
that's
that
what I'm
way.
saying. Is once it's changed and fixed, hopefully that's gonna happen. But once that happens, I think yes, every set should be like Borealis to some extent. It should be enticing to go with the set. You should make sacrifices because it gives you so much value. That's
Yep.
what's fun about these legendary sets is you feel worth and value going for them, and when you get them, you're happy. So Akari is a perfect example of the tons of pyros. I've looked so much for that set, and once they get it, it's satisfying because it's a good set. And I think they need to try to keep that in mind when making sets for sure.
One thing I know PCF is worried about, and it showed from like their week 1 patches, is they're feeling like a lot of the player base is getting through the content extremely quickly, and they wanted to slow that down. And I hope like they don't like think that as a consideration to bringing other legendary sets up to par with Borealis, because at the end of the day, it's all up to the user to utilize this set, right? Like you can go to YouTube and copy a just any build, but are you going to be able to play that build efficiently? No. Maybe only a small percentage of people will be able to like deep dive, look into the class, and make it look broken. Like I'm gonna bring us as speedrunners into this because myself, I haven't done much of this, but you and Dawson have like and Palm have analyzed those maps, right? To like min max them to perfection, and then once you add that on with the gameplay of like Kari and Borealis and whatnot, it makes it seem extremely overpowered. But it's a lot of time and dedication like that we've put into the game to do it. So I hope that doesn't like affect their changes in making other legendary sets on par, because at the end of the day, it's up to the player to utilize it correctly, to be able to go through the content. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that has like a fully built Borealis Techno and still struggle to go through the CT15 content because it is hard. We're not saying the game is hard to play. Like you make one misstep as a Technomancer or a Pyro or a Trickster, and you just immediately die. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Honestly, what happened the first week is they overreacted
Oh,
by
100%.
seeing the 1% get to endgame instantly, right? They saw that and overreacted, and then the community, the 99%, realized that like, what the hell? I'm barely doing CD5s over here. What are you doing,
Yeah,
right?
that's how I
So
felt.
so it's like there was just a disconnect at the start, which is the reason why they completely stopped for like 3 months or more.
Mhm.
So I just hope that they understand that it was their fault basically at the start. They made a mistake, so the backlash is their fault. It's not the community thing, and maybe that's why they pulled back. To regroup and change their tactics and their direction. And so I'm happy with what's happening, and I'm hopeful for the future. I
Me
just hope
too.
they understand that they need to look really at what the casual player is doing and what
Yeah.
is their experience.
No game should ever focus on the 1% breaking things, in my opinion, because that's not their game base. And that's not their player base in the game. It's always going to be the casuals that always have the majority of the the recurring and whatnot. I mean that goes for every game. So
And let's be real, that 1% is going to find a way to break everything, no matter what happens.
exactly.
You find something.
Exactly, 100%. What one thing that I do want to see, like I'm glad we're getting all these changes, but now that we know these buffs and stuff are coming, I want to see them get this game to a stable aspect. I know this wasn't part of our topics list, but maybe we can discuss it a little bit. But I would like to see the game become in a stable place, and boom, they drop these updates, they drop the DLC, and everything is good to go. That's a little bit of wishful thinking, but I do hope that they're able to address a lot of the the bugs still rampant in the game, mainly like the crossplay multiplayer stuff. Honestly, my biggest gripe is just with multiplayer at the moment. I think the rest of the game handles just fine, but if you're marketing this game as a need to play with 3 player, gotta make multiplayer workable. So
Yeah, you got to be able to keep the 3 players in your game without disconnecting by having to load into an expedition first.
the table kick thing is just really odd.
Yeah.
Just
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, even Ice-T knows, right? The multiplayer is basically the very worst thing about the game.
true.
You guys
But yeah, I
think
think
I think
that's
we
all
hit
we had for the
everything.
podcast today, right? Yeah. We pretty much did everything. I think we missed the legendary sets to randomly roll attributes, but like I think we've talked about it in
Yeah, we
many
did.
podcasts in the past before.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think we
yeah.
need to
I
re-up
mean,
that
you know,
discussion.
we can just say again, right? I think,
Yeah.
I think they shouldn't do it for everybody because the casuals don't want to do that farm. But if there was an optional farm for people like us, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, like
Oh,
a
that's an
optional
idea.
CT20 farm for
Yeah, no, but I mean, you know,
yeah,
because
be hot.
making legendaries reroll for everybody, nah, don't do that.
No, I agree. I think
Oh,
yeah, you're
that's
100% right on that.
yeah, that's great. Because it's kind of like
Yeah.
if rather than the whole pool being like that, a chosen pool, and if you choose to go in there, then you can get different attributes. That's a good idea.
Yeah, for min
Pretty hot.
maxers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, you put in the notes, would that reinvigorate the grind in map? Yes, it would. Harry
Yeah,
Meadows
for min
back, baby.
maxers, right? It would make casuals have their set attributes on their builds without, you know, going crazy that they got a max health, skills life leech, and you know, healing received on some piece, right?
Ooh.
Like you got to keep that in mind, right? So yeah, I think that would be a good idea to implement it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things PCF can do to this game for balance changes. I personally would like to see some weapons getting buffed that are, you know, like they need to do something with snipers at some point. Like just do something with snipers. I'm going super off topic, but like
Oh yeah, they are
yeah,
swapping
yeah,
one attribute per set. That's what they're doing right now. They're just doing it, you know, one at a time.
yeah, they are Wolverine. And
Did
you
it
know
with
it's really good that they
Reforged.
can do all
Did it with
this.
what else? Statue set.
It's just
And
nice to know that they're able to go into the code and make these changes, which is just great.
that's promising news for, you know, things that could come. You know, if this works out well, maybe we'll see more of that. Maybe we'll see
I
more
just
things swapped
hope,
around.
and I know they're doing their due diligent testing. I just hope all of these all of these changes. Okay, I can't talk. All of these changes don't bring even more bugs into the game that are just game breaking or
Oh yeah,
because that's
yeah,
one
yeah.
thing we always have to
Oh
look
yeah.
out for.
I mean, yeah. Every you know, bugs are gonna happen. Sadly, there's nothing you can do against that. Like especially when the patches get bigger and bigger, like bugs are gonna happen. So
They really need like a you know a beta testing environment before the changes are live. But that's easier said than done. Honestly, you have to have like everything set up for that. So
all right. Thank you guys for the podcast.
yes, sir. Thank you guys for the podcast. But that was it, guys. Sorry, we went a little bit rambling on the end, but we did want to cover over the new dev news and our thoughts on the new buffs that are coming. Pyro looks promising. Trickster looks hot. Techno, hot garbage. Devastator, Big Daddy
I mean, you know, looks bad.
looks at okay. But you know it's good for the future. You guys want to do your usual social shout out, my mans?
Maffeine on Twitch, and that's pretty much it. It's the only place I ever am.
Yeah, you can catch me on YouTube and Twitch as a dude with a blunt.
And you can also always catch me on YouTube and Twitch with Play-Doh Bear. Thank you guys for joining the podcast. And until next week, which will be starting at Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to make that the norm. We will do it to have a set schedule for all of you, but would love to see you there and discuss the next Dev News Thursday and any changes and maybe a potential patch. So until then, guys, thank you for tuning in as always. Love you all. And until next time, peace.